find lots of people playing parts just because that's where they've been. Like Marilyn Monroe, for example, played a really dumb, ditzy blonde, and she was actually quite intelligent as well. I think you just get into those. Why? Well, for me, it's like to play Terry. It's sort of like an outlet because you don't have to worry about sounding smart, and so you access the dumb part of your brain that you wish you could always be like that and not worry about what people think.
They're playing "Running with the Devil," Van Halen in the other room there.
Running with the devil.
To my right nut, man. See you later, fella.
I think it's like going down to the lowest common denominator at this point. I'd say because things are going so accelerated in terms of technology and in terms of our society is moving at such a rapid pace, and that people are, maxed out with like special effects, full on, everything is full on and really quick. And so this is almost the opposite.
Is the lowest common denominator foobar? No. They're just playing dumb.
The lowest common denominator could be a number of people. It could be the family man.
What's a moron? A homeless person, I would have to say. Anybody that can't keep a job, anybody that has to rely on alcohol or drugs to keep going.
What about an idiot?
An idiot. Well, an idiot would be me. You're looking right at one. Anybody that really just is, I don't know, they don't really have a normal concept of thinking. Anything catches their eye. They don't really think straight or clear. My girlfriend, she's an idiot too.
Is that right?
She even admits it.
The one man who embodies the lowest common denominator is Hollywood superstar Adam Sandler.
Adam Sandler is probably not dumb at all. Well, I don't think anybody with that much savvy in terms of what his audience wants can possibly be dumb.
What's up, everybody? How are you? Thank you. It's fine. Always goofy, no matter what.
He'd been doing a very good job of concealing it until he made Punch Drunk Love, and then we realized, no, actually, this guy's a lot smarter than any of us really thought he was.
I know in my heart I've always been pretty, I've worked hard at trying to make funny movies, and I believe in my movies, and I know critically, a lot of critics object to what I do. I did a few interviews for some magazines. I remember reading the article after hanging out with this person that I didn't know, share my life with them and talk with them and let them into my home and know about my thoughts and whatever. And then I would read the article and I would hear, this guy's a moron. And
Adam Sandler is kind of an interesting example because he plays those lowbrow characters, but he's probably smart enough to know what sells.
Stupid is funny, basically, because people find that funny. People will stand up and say, I'm poor. They'll stand up and say I'm short. They'll stand up and say I'm bald. They'll say I'm powerless. They'll say I have a crappy job. They'll admit all sorts of things about themselves.
I'm a fucking worthless piece of shit.
But you very rarely find anyone who will stand up and say I'm stupid. I don't understand a lot of stuff. So therefore, it's just funny when you see someone else and it's stupidity.
Go! I fucking missed.
I don't say when we're working on a script, I want to play a big-hearted doofus right now. I usually say, I want to write a movie that I think is pretty funny.
Adam Sandler is a very smart guy. And so actually some of the stuff that he does is quite smart. It's just that we have to keep the smart level down here somewhere,
Would a smart guy play dumb to get ahead?
Always goofy, no matter what.
There are only 2 newspapers in the United States that have websites with more traffic than us. The New York Times and the Chicago Tribune, that's it. We're ahead of everybody else. I hesitate to say going to FARC would be where you would find out more about human nature, but I'm afraid I'm right. It's just sad but true. I think they're worried that we're coming down from some kind of a high point where we had pure news 100 years ago and we're just slowly letting it slide. My opinion on that is I don't think that was ever the case. I think, again, like I said, I think that our stupidity that's been there all along is just becoming more and more apparent.
The website FARC is part of a booming trend towards chronicling stupidity in its many forms.
I make a distinction, and there's two categories that are pretty close to that. Stupid and asinine are very similar, but there's a big distinction. Stupid is when one or more people do something to themselves. Asinine is when they do it to somebody who just is walking by. About once every 2 or 3 months, somebody somewhere in the world tries to check their gas tank with a Bic lighter. About once a week, somewhere in the world, somebody gets their penis cut off.
Are we becoming a culture for dummies? Are we oversimplifying ourselves back to the Dark Ages?
You know, when thinking started, with Adam and Eve, they had a choice. See, they was told the laws of the land, do not. God told them, don't eat of the tree of knowledge.
From the very beginning, it seems, our world has had an uncomfortable relationship with knowledge and intelligence. One of the most powerful symbols of stupidity, the dunce cap, has an ironic history. John Duns Scotus, who lived in the 13th century, was one of the greatest philosophers of his time. A century later, he was already considered an idiot. You might say science officially discovered stupidity at the turn of the century in Paris. It was then that Alfred Bonnet, a French scientist, invented the first stupidity test. It was called the IQ test.
The original main IQ test was a test used to find mentally retarded people. And the phrases that were used to describe them, depending on their IQ, were, imbecile, idiot. Those phrases then took on, became stigmatized and took on meanings. You would never call, you would certainly never call someone with mental retardation now an idiot.
But today, just about everyone gets called an idiot at some point. So what is an idiot? If you agree with the concept of mental age, then most small children would technically be idiots. Adults who act like babies may be huge idiots. Idiots by the original Greek definition, the unelected crowd.
Oh, an idiot is someone who literally doesn't go into public life.
Ordinary citizens are a bunch of idiots.
So the idiot was the origin of us all. This is to say, this is a figure that is a clean slate, that has no memory traces, that is prior to language.
Could you tell me what the lowest common denominator is?
But Bonnet's IQ test also put the word imbecile on the map. An imbecile ranked just slightly higher than an idiot in IQ result. If your IQ was 0 to 25, you are an idiot. 25 to 50, you were an imbecile. A French invention, the imbecile was more mobile than the idiot. Because the imbecile could move, imbeciles are often associated with action, falling down the stairs, dropping things, causing accidents, or killing themselves. There are raging imbeciles and total imbeciles.
So the original IQ tests were actually developed to exclude people from school. It was testing people that they felt were too dumb.
But for the psychologists of the time, idiot and imbecile were not enough. So a new kind of stupidity classification was created. In the early part of the century,